had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. She showed me her room, isn't it good, Norwegian wood. She asked me to stay and she told me to sit anywhere. So I looked around and I noticed there wasn't a chair. I sat
So you managed to squeeze a Beatles song into the 2-hour show.
I didn't actually. That was our production team who were right on the ball, right?
Really?
And the reason we're playing that, I think that's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. I really love it. And Norwegian Wood, by the way, everybody thinks. Well, everybody thinks it's about the Help film, because the Help film, part of it was filmed in Norway, wasn't it? In Forest. Well, you've never seen it.
But I mean, I don't know where it was filmed. I'm not that much of a
don't you remember them in the black capes? In the black capes on the snowy hills and the fir trees and all that.
Vaguely.
So everybody thought, well, that
was not exactly Oscar-winning stuff. But
they were the most famous people in the world at the time.
Well, that's fine. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Most of the people listening to this show weren't even alive then.
No, but Mozart was a long time ago. But we still revere him for his genius.
He wasn't in that Help film, was he?
No, he wasn't in the Help film. No, actually, he wasn't available that day. It was done in Norway, and he came from Germany or somewhere like that.
You sure?
He's
not Austrian.
He's Austrian. That's right. Yeah. In fact, I interviewed the guy I interviewed the guy who makes a living impersonating Mozart, standing on a box outside Vienna Castle. That's
why
right.
Did you interview him?
Well, I just thought it was a bit of a laugh, because he said he'd been there 400 years. But anyway, the point of my story is.
So what was it about?
So it wasn't about Norwegian woods.
Right.
What it was about was, they lived in London.
I assumed it was about Norwegian wood, not as in the woods, but a piece of wood.
Yeah, people who buy all their furniture in those days at trendy stores like Bibendum and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Bibendum, no, you're thinking of Heels.
Heels, that's right. Yeah, places like that. But Mary Quant was big at the time, and I think she had a furniture range as well.
Did she?
Yeah, and all the furniture was made out of Norwegian wood.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I thought it was about that.
So John Lennon goes round to some, young lady's place, after a show or something like that, and he's sitting there and he notices everything's made in Norwegian wood.
Oh yeah.
So he wrote a song about it.
Oh, okay.
But the reason
we playing it then?
Well, if you listen to the opening bars, you will hear a twanging noise in the background.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. That twanging noise was George Harrison playing his sitar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And yesterday in Los Angeles, that sitar, which is it's like a guitar, but instead of having a box where the strings echo, it's
sound box.
Yeah, it's a big bubble.
Everybody knows what a sitar looks like.
Are you sure?
Yeah, of course
Are you sure? And Ravi Shankar taught him how to play it. So he played it for the first time on Norwegian Wood. And yesterday in Los Angeles, it was sold for £46,581.
Really?
Which is about sort of $70,000 these days.
Or something like
60,
well, maybe
60,
yeah. So how come you didn't end up trying to bid for it then?
Well, I think if I'd had the opportunity and the wherewithal, I might have done. But I think that's incredibly reasonable as an artefact from, the Beatles era.
It's a lot of money to pay for anything, really.
I suppose it is, really.
I mean, I know because you're such a wealthy man.
No,
not
at all.
You're spending 50 grand on a musical instrument. But for most people listening to this programme, I'm afraid that is more than 3 years' money.
Well, it is, but I still think it's incredibly cheap. But the point is, I don't suppose whoever's bought it wants to play it. He just wants to stick it on his wall. And
maybe it's somebody like the Hard Rock has bought it, so they can put it up, on their wall. But interestingly enough, I've been watching recently. I was telling you this the other day.
Yes.
That film that Martin Scorsese made about George Harrison.
Yeah.
Which is called Living in the Material World.
Unbelievable.
And what a great film! And actually, funnily enough, the last piece that I watched, because I'm watching it sort of in stages.
Yes.
I'll watch maybe half an hour at a time.
I see. Yeah.
You're not listening to me, are you?
I am listening to you. I'm definitely listening.
What
to you.
am I doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, what am I doing?
You're explaining to me about the George Harrison film.
Yeah, how am I watching it?
You're watching it a bit at a time, about half an hour at a time.
About half an hour at a time.
See, so
exactly
I was listening.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you had to think about it.
No, I didn't have to think about it at all. I've got 2 ears, and I can assimilate information. No.
I heard you know it's only got 1 ear. Or no ears. Or 3 ears.
No, what I'm saying is...
I've got 2 ears as well. Maybe we should make a club.
Yeah, but I can take in information from my right-hand side in my right ear, and I can take information from the left-hand side of my left ear, and I can sort them both out in the middle of my head. Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, so...
Well, anyway, listen, I've just been watching the Ravi Shankar part of the film.
Oh, right. Okay.
So actually it's quite opportune for you to raise that particular situation.
Excellent.
Anyway, well, I've got some more music for news from the art world for you.
Oh,
right?
okay, great.
Because this is a great piece of knowledge which has been garnered towards me
about
authors, right? Because you call yourself an author, don't you?
Of course I'm a published author.
You're a published author.
You claim to be an author because you've written manuscripts, but nobody's ever bothered publishing them.
I've never claimed to be an author, actually. No, you've just asked me if I've ever written a book.
No.
To which I said, yes, I have.
Yeah, well...
But that doesn't make me an author.
Well, it does, because books are written by authors, believe it or not.
Books are written by all kinds of people.
Well, they're written by authors mostly.
I mean, Jay Rayner's written a book, but he's not an author, is he?
No, he's not.
He's a plank.
No, he's I would say, an average sort of reviewer.
Indeed.
That's only my opinion.
Anyway, have you ever heard of a man called Marcel Proust?
Proust, Proust, very famous philosopher.
Yeah, he was considered by critics and writers to be one of the most influential authors of the 20th century.
Absolutely.
He lived, of course, in France.
He did.
The greatest French novel of the 20th century was published in 1913.
Yes.
Right, and it was called, you may not know the name of it.
Go on.
Remembrance of Things Past.
That's right, Remembrance of Things Past. Yeah, remember
which
that.
obviously was, it's slightly different in French.
Yes.
But one of the reasons it turns out that
les things pastés. Yeah, go on, yeah.
Well, it says here, best known for his monumental novel À la recherche du temps perdu.
Yeah.
In Search of Lost Time.
In Search of Lost Time,
which we all are here at TalkSport.
Of course.
Because we lose a lot of time
right,
talking absolute and utter nonsense. Now, but it turns out, right, that the reason that rapturous reviews greeted the publication of this book in Parisian newspapers was because the rapturous reviews were written by Marcel Proust.
Ah, but not under his own name. Would that be right?
Yes. Well, not only did he write them, right? Yeah. But he deliberately set about a PR campaign. He was the first PR.
Yeah.
Because he basically worked out that, if anybody's going to write a review of my own book, it should be me.
Yeah.
So he actually entered into contracts with the newspapers.
Right.
They knew they were written by him. He paid them to publish them.
Under a nom de plume.
Under a nom de plume.
My God, that's
Isn't that extraordinary?
Well, I mean, you and I worked in police for a very long time.
I'm surprised, actually, that you didn't think of this ruse when you published that terrible book about Wayne Rooney.
Sounds to me like that's a great idea.
Why don't you rehash?
Tunes?
Well, you should rehash the Rooney Tunes book, right?
Well,
because there's enough now to write a new chapter at least.
There's one more Rooney book coming out, I'm told. And
I thought he'd cancelled all his.
He had a 5-book contract, right? The first one came out, was written by that seasoned author, for want of a better word, who wrote the Beatles book, believe it or not, Hunter Davis.
Oh, Hunter Davis,
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But
he wasn't going to write all the others, was he?
Well, no, they're going to do it individually contract. Then there was supposed to be one every 2 years for every competition.
Yeah.
But the problem was, Rooney had those injuries before every competition, and therefore they kept sort of pushing them back. There's only ever been one published since, in a 5-book deal, but they're going to settle the deal on one final book when he retires.
Well, I think it's time you rehashed the one that you did and put some new stuff in it. How about this one from Kirk? It says, the mountain scenes in Help were actually filmed in Austria. Right. Hashtag plank. No excuse for old Wolfgang not showing up.
No, well, exactly.
So it was actually filmed in Austria.
Yeah, okay, we're filmed in Austria. That's fine. What I'm saying is people thought it was filmed in Norway because of the song Norwegian Wood.
Yeah.
So I was only trying to, illustrate that I could lead you through the thread of that thinking pattern.
Well, I don't want to be led anywhere by you, thanks very much. But here's one from Sparky Sue, who says, can the two mics stop going off at a tangent or interrupting one another and spit it out about Norwegian Wood?
Yeah, well, you've got it now.
I don't think she gets the show, does she?
You've got it now. Yeah, of course she gets the show, but she was just saying, hurry up, I want to know the conclusion.
Yeah.
Because it's such an interesting tale, she wanted to get to the punchline.
Yes.
Well, we got to the punchline.
Now, there's loads and loads of quick emails and texts and tweets to read out. Yeah. Here's one from Red Hawk, who says, 2 weeks ago, Porky berated an Everton fan for not believing in Ronald Koeman. How the worm has turned.
Well,
where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
Coming up very shortly, we're going to have the 1 minute moan, and it's going to be judged, as indeed last week's was, by the Clockmeister.
Yes.
The Clockmeister on this occasion is the junior Clockmeister, because he's filling in for the other Clockmeister. But I have absolute confidence in him as a very, very fair-minded individual. Now, let me read you a couple of quick tweets.
Okay.
Gabriel says this, when Porky starts off about the Beatles, he reminds me of the old Jasper Carrot bit, the nutter on the bus.
The nutter on the bus, yeah. Actually, I didn't go on about the Beatles, that was Steve Lillywhite.
Well, you did start going on about the Beatles at the start of the show, start of the hour, I mean.
No, that was the Norwegian Wood thing.
Yeah, you got that wrong as well, by the way.
What?
Apparently Norwegian Wood wasn't on Help.
No, it wasn't Hannah Help.
Well, it had nothing to do with the Help film.
I know it wasn't, but
you said that it was they were talking about the Norwegian woods.
I can tell you from experience, talking to Beatle aficionados, they always thought that, Norwegian Wood, that must have been the song they did on Help, because they filmed it in a forest with lots of snow. And I said, no, it wasn't.
Well, apparently it was filmed in Austria.
It was, I know that.
You said it was filmed in Norway.
I know these things.
Mike says this, Norwegian Wood was a Lennon one-night stand and bottled it, felt guilty afterwards, so hid it in a song.
Yes, that's right.
And then he said something about you which is too rude to repeat.
Well, I'm used to that. I've got broad shoulders.
Jim says broad shoulders and 2 ears. Yeah, what information we getting from you today? Amazing that Porky can process information from both ears.
Yes, that's
Jim.
right.
Shame it gets scrambled into complete nonsense.
Well, it doesn't actually. I am smarter than the average bear, but I'm not going to keep.
Had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. She showed me her room, isn't it good, Norwegian wood.